Well, good morning. Yes, it's me, Kenny Polcari, your host of the party, and today is Tuesday, August 5th, 2025, and here are the things that you need to know to get your day started. Well, you can say, wow, what a bounce back after Friday's debacle. And there's more drama going on at the Fed. We'll talk about that. The Palantir, they came out last night and they crushed it. Well, off we go. Everything rose yesterday, except, of course, the contra trades. We'll talk about that in a moment. Oil's down. Gold is down. Bonds, well, they're unchanged. And what are we having dinner tonight? We're having the veal with white wine and porcini mushrooms. It is delish. Okay, look. August is living up to her reputation as the volatility continues. Stocks got hit hard on Friday, but guess what? They took it all back yesterday. The Dow surged 585 points after losing 542 on Friday. The SP jumped 91 points. It lost 101 on Friday. The Nasdaq rallied 403 points after falling 472 points on Friday. The Russell gained 45 points, nearly erasing Friday's 44-point loss. Transports lagged a bit, up 160 points after losing 340 points on Friday. The equal weight popped, though, 90 points, more than making up for Friday's 80-point loss. And the Mag 7, well, they rose 580 points, not quite reclaiming the 900 points that they gave up on Friday, but a solid bounce nonetheless. This came after traders and investors had a chance to digest the latest headlines, along with what continues to be a strong earnings season. So far, the companies that have reported are crushing it. 83% have beaten the expectations by an average of 9%. That's nearly triple the beat rate that had been forecast at the start of the year. And it's the strongest since we've seen in 2021. There's also this growing belief that the Fed is definitely going to cut rates in September, if not sooner, by at least 25 bips. Now, San Fran's Mary Daly, of San Francisco Fed fame, told us this morning that we need more than 2 cuts if the labor market continues to weaken and inflation remains subdued. Let me just tell you something. She's late to the game. She's not telling us any secrets. The market is expecting a total of 75 basis points worth of cuts this year. How we get there is anybody's guess. You can do 325 basis point cuts, September, October, November, 150, 125, or one cut of 75. You pick. In the end, it gets us to the same place, which is about 3.5 to 3.75% by the end of the year. Then came the news that Fed Governor Adriana Kugler is stepping down, a move that sparked fresh speculation, intrigue, and yes, excitement. She didn't give a reason for her early exit, but the whisper is that it may be tied to internal disagreements with JJ over the path of interest rate policy. So you ask, why does it matter? Oh boy, it matters. Her departure gives Trump the opportunity to fill yet another seat. And that pick could very well be someone in line to replace JJ when his term is up in May of 2026. And don't forget, Chrissy Waller and Michie Bowman were also Trump appointees in the last administration, and both had been floated as potential candidates for the chair. So the buzz, yeah, it's real. Because another Trump appointee likely means another voice aligned with his view on where rates are versus where he thinks rates should be. Every major sector rose yesterday. Naturally, tech took the lead, up 2%. Consumer staples carrying up the rear, up 0.5%. Most of the other sectors were up better than 1 full percentage point. Homebuilders continued to advance, up 1.8%. Retail surged by 2%, leaving the sector slightly negative year to date. Disruptive tech, that rose by 3.5%. Semis up 1.5%. Robotics and AI up 2.6%. Aerospace and defense up 1.25%. Big Pharma up 1.4%. The list goes on and on and on. The contra trades, though, well, they took it right on the chin, giving back all their gains from Friday. The dog down 1.4%. The SH down 1.5%. PSQ gave back 1.8%. The VIXI lost 6.4%. The SPSX, which is the triple leveraged short, gave up 4.1%, which must mean that the SPSL, which is the triple leveraged long, must have advanced. And it did. It gained 4.5%. Now, bonds didn't do much, mostly because everyone's watching the slate of auctions that are just on the horizon. We got 17-week bills due today, 13 and 26-week bills on Thursday. Then you get the 20 and 30-year bonds later this month. The TLT rose yesterday by 0.3. The TLH was up 0.2. Yields have moved slightly lower. The 10-year is now yielding 4.2%, which is down almost 7% from mid-July. And the 30-year is at 4.8%. That's down about 5.5% over the same time stretch. And what's that telling you? Well, maybe it's just positioning ahead of the auctions, could be. Or maybe it's a sign that the bond market is starting to price in slower growth and real potential for easing, especially with the latest Fed drama, right? Now, oil, it fell. Why, you ask? Here we go again. Demand worries. They want you to believe that there is a demand issue. Can you believe that? We just talked about how companies are crushing it. The economy remains robust. Rate cuts are likely coming and the energy needs are only growing. Hello, AI data centers, think about that. And yet they want you to believe that oil is down because demand is waning. Oh my God, it's exhausting already. Let's be honest. This is not a demand story. This is a supply story, and there's plenty of it. Ample supply means, guess what? No shortage. It just means that there's more oil available. And when that happens, prices typically adjust lower. It's called Econ 101. Or did you skip that class? Now, oil has been down. It's down about $5 from early August, so since last week. Now trading at 65.48, piercing the long-term trend line at 66.50. The breach alone is enough to trigger some technical selling. Next, levels of support come in at 65.26 and 63.64, so I'm not so sure that we're going much lower. And by the way, lower energy prices are a net positive for the economy, and guess who else? You, the consumer. Okay, gold continues now to hug the trend line at 34.13. After we breached it, then we pierced it again, now it's hugging it, taking us right back to where we closed on Friday. And like I said yesterday, if the latest wave of anxiety that had been building on Friday dies down, and it looks like maybe it is at the moment, I'd expect gold to back off a bit. Next week brings us the latest inflation reports, the CPI and the PPI, so just be patient. U.S. futures are up this morning. Dow futures up 80 points. SP's up 15. Nasdaq up 66. The Russell's up 8. After the bell, we heard from Palantir. And they blew the roof off of the house. Earnings per share of 16 cents a share versus the 14-cent estimate, up 78%, while revenues were up 48%, piercing the billion-dollar mark versus the estimate of $938 million. U.S. government revenues are up 52% to $426 million versus the estimate of $390. The stock is up $8 or 5.5% in the pre-market, but the stock is up 112% year to date. It's up 1,300% since August of 22. So this is one of those names you just buy. Now, if you own the triple Qs or the S&P 500 or the IVES ETF or any other number of tech-styled ETFs, then you're going to own a piece of Palantir. Clearly, though, it would have been much better if you bought it 2 years ago. But you can't look backwards. You need to always look forwards. The VIX, well, now that's trading below all three trend lines, down 21% since Friday's surge. And while that might suggest that calm has returned, don't be fooled. All it takes, ladies and gentlemen, is one negative headline to light the match on a market that feels, once again, priced to perfection. Or is it? Tommy Lee over at Fundstrat, one of the industry's top headline makers, said yesterday that he expects August to be a blowout month. He's calling for the S&P to hit 6,600 before the end of the month. If that plays out, we're talking about a 4% advance from here. Okay, here we go, sports fans. The S&P closed at 63.29, up 91 points. And guess what? We filled that gap that we created on Friday, like I said to you yesterday. Unlike Tommy, I am still in the camp that we're going to continue to churn lower through August and into September, with the surge back up to 6,500 by the end of the year. I continue to believe that we could see a 4 to 5% pullback that would take us down to 6,100, and then we'll rally back. And then we should see, the rally back into the end of the year. Now, you want to talk about strategy? Let's review the plan. Call me for a complimentary, no obligation portfolio analysis. You can get me at 561-931-0190. Okay, what do we have for dinner tonight? We're having the veal scallopini and white wine and porcini mushrooms. Delicious. Okay, so for this you need like 3/4 ounces of dried porcinis, a pound of fresh mushrooms, a half a stick of butter, dried sage leaves that you're going to finely chop. You need 6 veal scallopinis. You need 3/4 cup of white wine. The Pinot Grigio Santa Margherita always works. You need chopped Italian parsley, salt and pepper, and half a cup heavy cream. Soak the dried porcinis in a cup of warm water for about 30 minutes. Once they're softened, remove them with a slotted spoon, put them on a strainer with a paper towel, strain the soaking water into the bowl and set it aside. Rinse the porcini under cold water to remove any grit, rough chop them, and then set that aside. Now, thinly slice the fresh mushrooms, set those aside. Season the veal scallopini with salt and pepper, right? Now, in a large saute pan over medium-high heat, melt the butter with a splash of olive oil and sprinkle in some of the sage. Now add the veal. Don't crowd the pan because it'll draw the heat out. Brown the veal well on both sides, for 3 to 4 minutes per side, right? They should remain slightly pink inside. So depending on how thin they are or thick they are, right? Use your head. Now, pour in the white wine. Take that out. Pour in the white wine. Let it boil for 30 seconds. And then let the wine steam off, right? Scrape up any brown bits from the bottom of the pan. Once the liquid evaporates, add the reserved porcini soaking water, the liquid that you saved, and the chopped porcinis to the pan, stirring until that liquid, that water, evaporates again. Then add in the fresh mushrooms and the chopped parsley. Season with salt and pepper, reduce the heat to low, and cover. The mushrooms will release their own water juices, right? Stirring it occasionally. Then you're going to uncover it and cook it once again until the water disappears. Now you're going to add in the white wine and the cream, simmering until the sauce thickens, maybe 3 to 4 minutes. Now, bring the veal back into the pan, turning it once or twice just to warm it through and coat it nice with the wine and cream sauce. Now, serve this on a warm plate with steamed asparagus, a touch of butter, maybe and some seasoning, and a simple salad, arugula, Boston bean, maybe a little spinach, red onion, cucumbers, and tomatoes. Dress it with salt and pepper, oregano, lemon juice, and olive oil. A nice Merlot works beautifully with this. Medium bottoms, medium bodied, smooth, and just right. Another perfect meal. You can thank me tomorrow. Look, it's Tuesday here in Florida. The weather's nice. It was a gorgeous day yesterday. Hot, yes, but it was a gorgeous day. But we are coming into kind of August, September, which is kind of a rainy, stormy season. So can we say the same about the markets? We're going to find out. Until tomorrow, take good care.